Dr. Harper here, blessed to be with Dr. Kedar with Newsrael. How did you become involved with Newsrael?
I was asked by Ronen Leffler, the CEO, to join as a vice president, and immediately I agreed in order to support this application and to help spread the use of this application all over the world, especially within those who speak English. We are now willing to broaden the activity by creating parallel applications like Newsrael FR in French, and Newsrael SU or RU in Russian, AR in Arabic, and so forth.
Israel, the Holy Land from the Bible, has come to life. You can now walk its beautiful landscape and be reminded of the ancient Bible stories where Abraham received the promised land from God, where King Solomon built the first temple, and where our prophets brought us God's words. However, too many narratives out there are telling a different story. Too many organizations and media outlets have targeted Israel and are serving anti-Israel agendas. Where is the newsfeed that can counter the flood of anti-Israel narratives and show the true face of Israel? Newsrael is the only 100% free, pro-Israel 24/7 multiple platform newsfeed in English coming directly from Israel. Newsrael reports the real news from a pro-Israel perspective for the conservative audience and all lovers of Israel anywhere in the world. Newsrael features what Israel is all about, from exploring its beautiful landscapes to quotes from the Bible, from archaeological discoveries to Middle East analysis and opinion pieces by leading figures on burning matters such as Jerusalem, Judea, and Samaria, and their connection to Israel. From heroic stories of IDF soldiers to Israeli politics, Newsrael is bringing its audience the real story about everything that is happening in Israel today. This is the way to show the real Israel, the land that God promised to His people in the Bible, the innovative Israel that was Herzl's dream, a home to the people that the prophet Isaiah called a light unto the nations. Newsrael is already the main pro-Israel source of information for 100,000 Israel-friendly users. Our goal is to expand our reach to the wider global audience. Please join us in our quest to bring the real news to the whole world and spread the message of love for Israel. Please join our mission now. Download the Newsrael app for your cell phone.
Dr. Kedar, thank you for joining me. You are in Israel currently right now.
Yes, I am in Israel, my country, my land, my birthplace, my beloved Israel.
So what are the top concerns that you have in Israel right now?
Well, as you know, we are at war against the evil, against the satanic ISIS-like organization named Hamas, which killed some 1,500 Israelis in one day, on October 7th, burned people, beheaded them, raped girls, and burned them, things which almost unbelievable what these beasts did to our kids, to our people near Gaza. And now we are at war at this entity named Gaza in order to extract this organization and to uproot it totally and to make sure that this organization doesn't exist anymore. And now the Israeli soldiers are fighting in Gaza.
It really doesn't really help matters when I just recently read about the Turkish president Erdogan saying that Hamas is not a terrorist organization or that Israel is the occupier. How would we respond to that Turkish president?
Well, he should know better. He actually wants to evacuate, or he offered them, I believe, to evacuate them to Turkey in order to save their lives, so Israel doesn't kill them. And apparently he wants to legitimize this organization by saying such a nonsense.
It was very alarming what has been happening in Israel, what happened to Israel on October 7th. a barbaric attack by the terrorist organization Hamas. Very disturbing, as I said once again, about what's happening in Israel, with Israel needing to have to go into Gaza. What is the update about, as far as, the military actions that are happening in Gaza right now?
Well, the Israeli ground forces are in Gaza. They don't say where they are and what they do and what is their objectives. Yet more and more forces are being streamed to Gaza. And if I was living in Gaza, I would be very, very worried.
Along with this, I was just recently reading in a Jerusalem Post report about Hamas blocking the way for people wanting to flee the area, even shooting at people, keeping them from going to the southern Gaza to flee. What is that the concern? Have you heard that in Israel about Hamas blocking the way for people to escape?
Yes, it was informed, and this actually shows the vast difference between those thugs, those terrorists who claim that they defend the Palestinians while they keep them as human shields in order for them to be killed from the Israeli self-defense which Israel maintains on Gaza.
How long have you been in Israel?
I was born here in 1952, means I'm 71 years old, and ever since then I'm here in Israel. Thank God.
Okay. Well, I do encourage people to pray for Israel. I know this is such a vicious, very traumatic time of people that have suffered great loss, that are grieving, losing family members, the horrific, barbaric attack, really, and as many evangelical Christians see, a demonic attack on the Israeli people and upon the Jewish people. And also, when you're concerned about the rise of anti-Semitism here in the U.S., your comments about what's been happening on the college campuses and members of Congress that are siding with the terrorists.
Right. And this is why the situation should be taken very carefully in account in order to prevent anything which might hurt Israel. And yes, and prayers will also help in this case. And please pray for us. Pray for the IDF soldiers. Pray for our kidnapped people who are in the hands of Hamas, above 200 people. And pray for the state of Israel, because the state of Israel is actually fighting the war or the battle of the whole world, because Israel defends the Western world, Europe and America, from the thugs of the jihad. Once, God forbid, Israel falls, the next station will be for them in Europe.
It was really disturbing to hear in the news about pressure on Israel to even consider withdrawing from Gaza at this time. But a little confusing statements about that. Have you heard of people trying to get Israel to consider a truce at this point, when really they do have the right to defend themselves?
Yes, but unfortunately there are some people who constantly try to undermine the stability here and the government here and all kinds of other things which are vital for us. Yet there are some irresponsible people who maintain their democratic right to speak about whatever they like, and they do it in a way which weakens the state. And this is unfortunately what they do.
Well, thank you, Dr. Kedar, for joining us. And this is so important to address what's really going on with Israel, and even behind the scenes at the White House and the State Department about reporting on these issues. I'm blessed here to have Dr. Kedar here with Newsrael to join me today. And thank you, Dr. Kedar.
Thank you so much, Reverend Harper.